In April 1942, 16 B-25s launched from Hornet's deck, impossible stunt aimed at Tokyo. Doolittle's raid bent physics and morale alike. Japan's home islands had felt invulnerable. Bombs shattered complacency. Civilians learned war reaches kitchens. Leadership learned embarrassment. American crews knew capture odds. China landings cost lives when planes fell short. Courage measured in fuel gauges. Raid damage was modest. Psychological shock was enormous. Yamamoto's push to extend perimeter gained argument fuel. Roosevelt smiled at press questions about Shangri-La. Myth sold better than carrier names. Propaganda needed mystery sometimes. Japanese Navy demanded Midway response. Aviation elite hungered for decisive battle. Pride scheduled destiny for June. Chinese civilians paid occupation reprisals for sheltering flyers. Global war's moral interest compounded brutally. American industry proved bombers could reach empire. Promise of future B-29s lurked in stunt's shadow. Japanese army still tied in China. Pacific victories fed illusion resources were infinite. Hubris loves maps with arrows outward. Doolittle men became celebrities. War needed heroes between defeats. Names on tins sold bonds. Japanese air defense gaps exposed, radar immature, night raids confused. Lessons bought cheaply by Americans, dearly by Chinese. Carriers survived raids launch. Pacific chess retained queens. Pieces repositioned for Midway gambit. Tokyo leadership debated invasions of Hawaii. Logistics laughed quietly. Fantasies met staff studies. American public exhaled vengeance. First offensive breath after Pearl. Morale currency deposited. Psychological effect rippled to Berlin. Allies could strike. Fascist capitals learned distance shrinks when wings grow. May 42. Coral Sea duel. First naval battle where fleets never sighted each other. Carriers fought over ocean coordinates. Lexington lost. Yorktown damaged. Japanese claimed victory while paying in aircrew blood irreplaceable. Pyrrhic math began. Shikaku damaged. Zuikaku air group depleted. 2 carriers absent Midway by accident of repair. Fate loves hinges. Japanese invasion force turned from Port Moresby. Seaborne thrust checked. Australia's northern threat eased a notch. American signals intelligence already scented Midway target. Hypostation guessed AF equals Midway. Code and courage braided. Coral Sea taught damage control lessons. U.S. Navy learned fires kill carriers faster than bombs alone. Foam and training thickened. Japanese floatplanes scouted well. American radar and CAP improved under fire. Technology plus doctrine matured in weeks. Pilots fought at fuel's edge. Returning planes ditched near friendly decks. Pacific War measured fuel states like vital signs. Nurses and corpsmen triaged burns. Human cost hidden in statistics. Victory lists omit ward smells. Strategically, Coral Sea was draw. Tactically, it tilted Midway odds. War games ignore small percentages at peril. MacArthur's theater linked. Coral Sea tied Australia to carrier war. Geography shrank to mutual support radius. Japanese propaganda minimized losses. Truth seeped through letters. Morale cracks start private. American carriers learned night is friend and enemy. Darkness hid and confused. Moon phases entered operations orders. Torpedo problems still plagued American subs and planes. Industrial fixes lagged. Weapons mature slower than courage. Coral Sea checked Japanese southern advance. Pacific turned toward confrontation atoll by atoll. Station Hypo under Rochefort gambled on Midway as AF. Deception message about desalination plant confirmed. Intelligence became spearpoint. Nimitz stacked 3 carriers. Enterprise, Hornet. Wounded Yorktown patched in 72 hours miracle. Dockworkers bent time. Japanese plan complex. Feint toward Aleutian split forces. Overconfidence loved choreography. Yamamoto's dispersion weakened concentration. Midway strike force lacked full combined fleet weight. Hubris subtracted hulls. American cryptology edge secret. Pilots flew not knowing why targets found. Trust in intelligence culture grew from Midway. Japanese codes partially read. Traffic analysis filled gaps. Puzzle workers became silent heroes. Midway's atoll defenders dug in. Marines with obsolete planes still fought. Speed bumps matter when clocks tick. Japanese submarine picket line failed, scouts late, surprise lost. Ocean is big, schedules are brittle. Nimitz risked carriers, Pearl's ghosts whispered caution, duty demanded gamble. Command is weighted dice. Weather fronts over Pacific, cloud decks hid and revealed. Chance saluted preparation. Japanese aircrew elite but thin. Training pipelines could not replace losses at Coral rates. Quality eroded while quantity waited. American dive bomber squadrons searched in desperation. Navigation errors became salvation when paths crossed Japanese carriers at same moment. Timing compressed, minutes separated triumph from disaster. Midway's clock had no mercy setting. Codebreaking did not win battle alone. Sailors and pilots cashed checks intelligence wrote. Team war fused rooms and decks. Road to Midway paved with decrypted radiograms and repair yard sweat. Abstract and concrete allied. June 4th dawn. Japanese carriers launched strike on Midway Island. Decks crowded with fueled planes, vulnerability dressed as routine. American torpedo bombers attacked low, devastators slaughtered. Sacrifice pulled 0 CAP down to sea level. Courage bought altitude for others. Dive bombers from Enterprise and Yorktown arrived high. 3 minutes changed war. Akagi Kaga, Soryu burning. Huryu's counterstrike wounded Yorktown. Then American dive bombers found her too. Sunset closed Japanese carrier math for months. Mikawa's phrase, victory disease, echoed later. Midway cauterized arrogance slowly, not instantly. Cultures learn at different speeds. Japanese lost 4 carriers and irreplaceable aircrews. Industrial Japan could not clone experience. America could build hulls faster. Midway Atoll held. Marine defenders cheered distant smoke. Land saw sea battle as horizon line fire. Prisoners and salvage told stories, maps captured, lessons filed. Intelligence continued after battle noise faded. Nimitz message praised, common sense understatement as leadership style. Calm words after storm. Japanese cancel invasion plans, Port Moresby via sea less viable. Guadalcanal chosen later, different hell. Strategy shifted islands. American losses painful, Yorktown sank, aircrews gone. Victory is not painless arithmetic. Midway anniversary became myth, SBD dauntless star. Hardware remembered, sweat forgotten. Pacific balance sheet tilted, offensive initiative contested. Japan still held empire, America held momentum. Strategically, Midway denied Japan decisive battle win. Turning point narratives argue degrees. Certainly arrows bent. Carrier strength destruction measured in pilots. Planes without men are aluminum. Midway burned Japan's aircrew bank. Pacific is distances. Carrier losses meant months without forward air cover. Midway bought calendar space. Australia breathed easier, threat ring loosened. Alliances cemented when fear reduces. American submarine campaign gained breathing room. Fewer ASW patrols from lost carriers. Undersea war linked to surface duels. Japanese combined fleet still powerful. Battleships unused at Midway mocked doctrine. Yamato class became expensive cautionary tale. Industrial ratio favored U.S. One Midway accelerated inevitable math. Time favors bigger forge. Psychological shift in Washington. Offense possible sooner. Policy follows mood sometimes. Japanese leadership masked defeat. Public lied to. Truth corroded trust internally. Dictatorships fear their own newspapers. Midway allowed Guadalcanal decision. Offensive foothold contemplated. Toeholds become beachheads. Chinese fronts benefited. Pacific tied Japanese resources. Global wars accounting cross-linked theaters. British relieved. Singapore shame balanced by Pacific news. Empire morale needed wins. Strategically, Midway proved intelligence carrier synthesis. Blueprint for later Philippine Sea and Leyte. Curriculum written in fire. Oil from Dutch fields still fueled Japan. Midway didn't close taps. Victory incomplete still mattered. American pilot training adapted tactics. Ammo, gunnery schools absorbed lessons. Bureaucracy learned speed. Midway mattered because alternatives were darker. Hawaii threat, Australia isolation. Counterfactuals sharpen gratitude. Historians debate turning point labels. Consensus. June 42 Pacific tide began turning. Oceans feel shift slower than land. Allies chose southern Solomon foothold. Japanese airfield construction on Guadalcanal triggered alarm. Watchtowers became war's name. Operation Watchtower rushed. 1st Marine Division landed August 7, 42. Logistics barely coherent. Speed chosen over comfort. Ikiki detachment underestimated Marines. Banzai charges died on Tenaru sand. Courage misapplied is waste. Henderson Field became prize. Who owned airstrip owned local sky. Cactus Air Force flew from mud and nerve. Navy supplied under nightly Tokyo Express runs. Destroyers raced supplies. Marines called them rats with medals. Iron Bottom Sound earned name. Japanese high command debated commitment. Honor demanded reinforcement. Attrition demanded caution. Hesitation killed slowly. American carriers covered landings, then withdrew. Marines felt abandoned briefly. Joint doctrine learned friction. Coastwatchers and natives reported movements. Intelligence network invisible on maps. Allies owed Melanesian guides debts. Malaria and jungle rot joined enemy lists. Doctors counted fevers like casualties. Environment fought both sides. Tokyo underestimated American resolve on Malaria Island. Racist certainty again. Underestimation tax high. Guadalcanal became priority duel. Prestige war stacked bodies. Islands too small for egos of empires. American public learned new names. Guadalcanal syllables heavy on tongues. Geography lessons via casualty telegrams. Japanese soldiers ate rice dwindling, supply line thin across slot. Hunger fights beside rifles. Decision to fight locked both nations into meat grinder, exit costly for honor. Sunk costs measured in liters. Strategic decision rippled, New Guinea campaigns linked. Pacific War chained island to island. Maps lied about ridges, contour lines didn't show vines and Kune grass. Planning met green wall. Patrols got lost 50 meters from trails, compasses spun in iron-rich hills. Jungle disoriented science. River crossings meant crocodiles and snipers. Engineers improvised bridges under fire. Nature added obstacles free. Artillery spotters struggled visibility. Trees ate shells. Indirect fire became guesswork art. Japanese bunkers under roots. Flamethrowers became moral and practical necessity. Horror tools saved lives sometimes. American logistics dumped supplies on beaches. Redistribution nightmare. Abundance can strangle if unsorted. Night attacks favored defenders who knew ground. Marines learned sleep in shifts. Darkness equalized firepower partially. Weather broke radio, static and rain. Command and control frayed to shouting distance. Disease evacuated men faster than bullets sometimes. Hospitals' ships became critical terrain. Medics heroes without insignia. Plans assumed days, reality took months. Timelines stretched, Washington fumed, troops endured. Japanese infiltration tactics tested nerves, whispers and grenades at dusk. Psychology became front. Airdrops missed jungles. Supplies hung in trees like cruel ornaments. Logisticians cursed canopies. Engineers carved strips from jungle. Henderson's mud runways launched history. Aviation beat geography inch by inch. Planning limits taught humility. After-action reports filled libraries. Experience bought with blood typed fast. Jungle War's lesson. Industrial power needs adaptation. Tons of steel useless without doctrine sweat. August 9, 42. Savo Island. Japanese cruisers slaughtered Allied cruisers in darkness. Battle of 5 sitting duck sailors bitterly joked. Radar confused as much as helped early U.S. Navy. Training lagged Japanese night optics skill. Learning curve painted in burning oil. Quincy, Vincennes, Astoria sank. Bluejackets jumped into shark-filled water. Iron Bottom Sound held ghosts that night. Chicago damaged. RAAF Hudson watched impotently. Air-sea coordination infant steps. Japanese withdrew rather than crushed transports. Cautious victory left Henderson alive. Mistake or fuel math debated. Subsequent night battles. Esperance, Guadalcanal naval battles. Ships traded blows like blind boxers. Flash and thunder ruled. PT boats harassed Tokyo Express. Mosquito tactics against destroyer trains. Small hulls big nerve. Scott and Callaghan flagships lost in November duels. Admirals died leading from front. Honor expensive at night. Washington battleships radar-directed fire showed future. Technology closing Japanese night edge. Tides turned technical. Sailors slept beside guns. No true rest for months. Fatigue became enemy officer. Iron Bottom's wrecks still leak. Divers visit metal graves. Sea preserves memory coldly. Night battles taught damage control American way. Foam, discipline, sacrifice. Ships saved by crews refusing water. Japanese star shells lit targets. Beauty and death shared sky. War aesthetics corrupt senses. Cruiser losses hurt both sides. Metal finite. Crews less replaceable for Japan. Attrition math favored U.S. eventually. Naval night war around Guadalcanal decided airfield survival. Who owned darkness owned days too. Sounds battleground shaped Pacific. Pilots flew until they hallucinated. Sleep debt measured combat tour in days, not months. Cactus Air Force burned young men. Malaria grounded squadrons. Atabrine yellowed eyes. Morale yellowed too. Medicine and mind linked. Dengue and dysentery emptied foxholes. Latrines became tactical concerns. Disease general undefeated historically. Maintenance crews worked by flashlight. Engines swapped under fire schedules. Ground crews unsung architects of air superiority. Japanese Betty bombers torched on runways when low. Allied pilots learned weaknesses. Tactics evolved midweek. Air power meant reconnaissance, seeing first wins half battle. Spotters saved ships sometimes. Exhaustion slowed reaction times. Friendly fire incidents rose. Tired armies shoot on. Fuel shortages grounded Japanese pilots. Allied logistics improved chain. Advantage compounded quietly. Flak and fighters duel daily. Psychological toll of constant alert. Nerves frayed like wires. Nurse corpsmen triaged blast and burn. Tents smelled of iodine and fear. Medical chain stretched thin. Air power interdicted barges, strafing Tokyo Express runs. Attrition on shoestring supply. Disease dropped more men than archives highlight. Commanders learned hygiene orders enforced. Discipline saved percentages. Pilot replacements green. Veterans died training rookies in combat. Darwinian air war accelerated. Exhaustion ended when Japan evacuated island. February 43, Guadalcanal secured. Survivors looked like ghosts walking. Air disease exhaustion, Pacific's Trinity. Guadalcanal initiated Americans into Jungle Pacific's true God. Marines carried Springfield rifles and pride, both heavy. 1st Division earned name walking. Army joined later. Americal and others relieved worn leathernecks. Service rivalry melted under shared mud. Foxholes flooded in rain. Men slept sitting. Comfort vocabulary vanished. Letters home censored, but emotion leaked. Mothers read between lines. Home front tethered to front line by paper. Chaplain services under palm. Faith and superstition braided. Foxhole religion honest. Marine humor dark. Jokes about Tokyo rose playlists. Laughter kept minds from breaking. Medal citations piled, some posthumous. Honor measured against friends not returned. Japanese soldier diaries found later. Fear and duty humanized enemy. Historians translate both sides. Cannibalism, rumors in starving Japanese units. War's basement when logistics fail. Truth and atrocity blur. American artillery learned registration. Maps improved with blood. Learning expensive. Marine ethos. Take ground, hold, ignore pain, tested to founding myth degree. Institution shaped by canal. Army engineers built bridges while shot at. Sappers, courage specialized. Infrastructure under fire. Experience forged inter-service respect slowly. Pacific needed both sea and land arms. Jointness born in argument. Marines rotated out skeletal. Australia rehabbed bodies. Men measured age in months and stateside. Guadalcanal veterans carried island whisper lifelong, nightmares and pride braided. Memories island bigger than maps show. Tokyo Express ran destroyers because cruisers risked air. Each run bled fuel and hulls. Attrition dressed as bravery. Pilot replacements green against American veterans. Kill ratios widened. Quality asymmetry accelerated. Japanese Army logistics ignored medicine. Wounded died preventable deaths. System contempt for individual returned bill. Subs sank supply ships. American silent service woke. Undersea attrition strangled. Honorable withdrawal debated. Evacuation chosen secretly February. Face saved thinly. Kanama perimeter shrank, Marines pressed. Space lost meant time lost. Japanese abandoned heavy gear. Retreat under air harassment costly. Equipment left tells story. Strategic bombing of Rabaul later pinned Japanese air. Forward edge dulled. Attrition cumulative. Guadalcanal attrition forced Japan defensive perimeter. Island hopping planned on blood lessons. Offense learned defenses cost. Industrial America replaced losses. Japan could not. Math inexorable as tide. Army-Navy rivalry in Tokyo worsened coordination. Bureaucracy attrition mirrored battlefield. States lose wars internally too. Civilian rationing tightened, war news censored, defeats hidden. Public trust corroded silently. Options shrank to fortify inner ring, truck, Marshall's next chess squares. Retreat redefined as shortened line. Attrition measured in petty officers lost. NCO backbone hardest to rebuild. Human capital crisis, invisible on parade ground. Japanese shrinking options previewed later Marianas Turkey shoot. Pipeline hollowed early. Guadalcanal drilled hole that widened. Allies seized initiative. Watchtower succeeded costly. Offensive habit formed. MacArthur parallel track in New Guinea. Dual offensive stretched Japan. Two fires harder to fan. Carrier raids multiplied. Gilbert Marshall stepping stones visible. Maps arrows pointed toward empire. Submarine tonnage war ramped. Japanese merchant marine hemorrhaged. Oil still issue. American pilot training pipelines widened. Replacement waves grew. Japan flew instructors into combat. Logistics lessons applied. Floating dry docks, mobile bases. American system learned ocean pacing. Pacific balance changed psychological. Homefront saw path to Tokyo exist. Propaganda shifted tone confident. Japanese Navy retained surface punch. Battleships waited for decisive battle mirage. Carriers already decided future. Allied intelligence improved interlocking. Code, coastwatchers, photo recon. Knowledge stacked. Guadalcanal memorialized. National cemetery on island. Tourism meets sacred ground tension. Balance change meant years more killing. Turning point not truce. War's middle brutal. Science delivered radar. Better AA fuses. Incremental edges multiplied. Tech attrition silent. Australia secured southern flank. Continent exhaled partial relief. Anzac blood bought breathing room. Pacific War's tempo set island, sea, air triad. Guadalcanal taught choreography. This episode closes with scales tipping. Midway broke carriers. Guadalcanal broke invincibility myth. Next offensive stack islands toward empire's door.